today we're actually going to go through our seeds. But first, we're going to take a trip down memory lane because without me ever even realizing it, guys, this was in fact my last gardening season here. And I won't lie, a big part of me is sad that I'm having to leave, but a big part of me is happy because we're finally going to own land, and look at how much I've learned from this rental property and how much of that I'll be able to take and implement there and try new things and do things differently. So I have a lot to be excited about, but this is going to be hard to leave. I think what I'm most absolutely proud of that my hands have done in this garden over the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, I've lost count, is the soil. I turned completely dead soil into thriving black gold. Not only that, this little garden has been my sanctuary for quite some time, so many of tears have provided many of nitrogen in this place. A lot of cuss words too. When COVID hit and we were jobless, it provided our family food. We waited weeks for EBT to kick in. So, a lot of precious memories tied up in this dirt. So for that reason, I'm taking a jar of it with me. Alright, so today we're actually going to go through our seeds, and the biggest reason why we're doing this is not only that we need to organize, we have a buttload we need to get rid of that we're actually going to be giving away to somebody in the comments, but in general, with us moving to this new homestead, we know that we're losing some days in our growing season, and the best way for us to get an inventory to see what we really need to buy is by kind of going through the mess. So we've already kind of went through this and I recorded quite a bit of it, but first I want to point out that I'm going to have a link down in the description here. This is going to take you to some free downloads on my website. Please take advantage of those. They are completely free. They're PDFs. You can download it to print or you can just save it to the computer. Joey and I just moving, what did you say, 90 miles away?
Just moving 90 miles away. We found out that we're going to lose 30 days of growing time, which blew my mind.
Yeah, so we went from 220 days of growing season, total growing season, to now 189 days, which doesn't mean that we necessarily can't grow certain things anymore. We're just going to have to start them a lot earlier because our fall frost is going to come a lot earlier. So with this download, this is going to take you to the Farmer's Almanac online, and you can pop in your zip code and it will tell you that first spring or last spring frost, your first fall frost. Then the totality of the number of days in between those is the total growing season you have. There's also a good link in there for your state summary. So it will give you a breakdown of days above 100 degrees and then days below 0 degrees. And this will kind of help you gauge, because even though we have 189 days in our growing season there and we had 220 here, how many of those 220 days did we have over 100 degree temperatures? Which plants don't like, by the way. Let me just say this. Your microorganisms in your soil, which help break down nutrients for your plants to absorb, they kind of quit working after about 90, 95 degrees. So how many days did we experience over 100 degrees?
It was a lot.
I know we had at least 30 consecutive days. Remember that this summer? So it's pretty bad. So there's a link for that. When you get on through this, I also have a wish list. That's what we're going to fill out, is we're taking inventory of everything we have and we're going through our wish list. Another thing we'll do is once you have that spring frost date, there's a paper where you can list your last spring frost date. And from there, you'll go to your calendar, count back 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. You'll list those dates in there. The reason why is because oftentimes when you look on the back of a seed packet, like this one, for instance, tells you that it could be planted for my zone around March to June, right? And it only takes 65 to 85 days to harvest. So we know it would have to be planted after our spring frost date. But if we wanted to start it early, if it said 4 to 6 weeks, like what tomatoes are mainly, tomatoes and peppers say 4 to 6 weeks, you would already have that date marked. And then you could just write down the seed in which that's the date you need to plant. So at 4 weeks prior to our frost dates, if it was tomatoes, that date would be there. So we would know tomatoes need to be planted inside on that date. It also works the same way with the fall. I have a fall list in here, and you'll just go through and you'll count back your 30, 60, 50, 40, like all of the days up to 120, and that'll help you with the days to harvest. So for instance, back to, let's say squash. If squash takes 50 to 60 days until harvest, the first fall frost, you'd count back that 55 to 60 days. That's when you'd plant it, so you'd have enough time for it to grow so you can actually harvest. The last thing that well, not the last thing, but another cool tool that I have in there is I put together a cheat sheet for square foot gardening. And the reason why I did this is because these seed packets oftentimes are geared towards industrial farming, which makes no sense because they're sold to the backyard gardener. You can pack a lot more in there. And the more you pack in your bed, the less watering, because there's more roots in the soil. There's actually less watering, less weeding, and you can pack a lot more in there and have a higher yield. So there's a cheat sheet. And then lastly, I do have a plant family chart, and that is to help you companion plant. I'm going to talk a little bit about companion planting in this, but I'm going to hit on it a lot more in another video. But that's kind of what I was teaching Joey, because Joey's still very new to a lot of this. Was we sit here and we separated, and we were just kind of running scenarios on, okay, well, if I have a bed of tomatoes, what would I not plant in it? And it was things like peppers. And that's kind of what this plant family does, is it tells you your nightshades, your common nightshades, and if you pick tomatoes from there, well, don't grow peppers in that bed. Don't grow things like eggplant. And the reason why is because they compete for the same nutrients, they suffer from the same pests and diseases, so a lot less trouble. Lastly is a planting calculator. So once you have that frost date, pop it in for spring and for fall, and what it's going to do is give you a common list of vegetables the day that you need to start the seed indoor, like the very last day that you have, plus your direct sow or transplant day to the garden. So it really makes it easy. Makes it a lot simpler.
It made a big difference in our garden last year just having that, because I was clueless to what you were talking about, doing a spring to fall flip.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the heck are you talking about? And that made a big difference.
And it really does. And this is a tool that I used to use a lot in my garden consultations. And I put that on there for free. It's in I think it's in like an Excel spreadsheet format. But what you can do if you don't have Excel, you can use your Google Gmail and go in through Google Docs, upload it, and then boom, you have that for free. So you don't have to pay for your Excel. And I'm actually so glad that Joey's helping me, because this is a mess. So in this next clip, you're going to hear me shout out certain seeds that we have and the different plant families. We're going to put them in, and you're also going to want that free download that kind of shows you the plant families, which will better help you understand why I'm separating them the way I am. Let's see. Wheat. This needs to go greens. Wheat. Greens. Lettuce. Squash. Lettuce. Beans. Alfalfa. Greens. Snap beans. Cucurbit. Squash. Cucurbit. Nightshades. Steva, throw my herbs back here. Beans. Squash. Herbs, veal. Baby's breath. We're gonna put flowers and herbs together for now.
So that's that plant I was talking about, the baby's breath?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Borage, flowers, cucurbits. Okra. Mallow family, right?
So?
It's not on there because it's a mallow family. Mallow is, there's nothing in this. Check it out. Indian corn. I'm giving this away. I've had it now 2 years and I haven't grown it, so the germination rate is going to drop. So that's going in the freezer. Artichoke. Oh, I'm excited about that this year. I forgot about that. I'm going through each seed packet and basically grouping them with their plant families. I'm having Joey hold the chart and help me along so you can kind of teach yourself these different seeds and which one goes in what plant family until we hit a mystery one. Mystery seed in the dog hair. If I had to guess, it's got to be a outstanding winter vegetable. So this is either acorn, squash. It's a dang cucurbit. Any seed that looks like that. Beep. Mystery cucurbit.
It's up for grabs. Dog hair not included.
Willing to trade. These are steva seeds. That's how tiny they are. You know what that is, steva?
It's like a sweetener.
I'm honestly so glad we done this because, y'all, I had so many random packs of seeds inside grocery sacks from the garden. We're down to our last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, Joey thinks I have a problem with cucurbits because currently test the pile. And I think you're right, because
The pile's only getting bigger, huh?
it's nothing but, oh yeah, those are all melons, so those are cucurbits too. Let's see here. Okay, kale. We have brassicas down here. There's tomatoes, there's eggplant, to which I'm gonna give eggplant a shot out there, but here, you notice how mine always look like Swiss cheese?
Yes.
No matter what kind of companion planting efforts I tried, and I mean, I started just throwing stuff at the wall to see what would work. Nothing would work unless I covered it in diatomaceous earth, which is blocking out the sun and basically killed the plant. So we're gonna try it out there. If it doesn't work, it's getting tossed. Arugula. I never grow it, but I want to grow it this year. I will say that. I'll grow it. Cabbage is staying. We don't grow enough cabbage. Our family eats buttloads of it. Brussels are out completely. Broccoli, done. Not growing it ever again. Those are out. Somebody's going to get a lot of cucurbits because I can't keep all that. We can't even grow all that in the same year. So now that we have these broken down, we basically have our plant family. And I'm going to school Joey. Let's see if he knows what we got here. So, what pile do you have in front of you?
This would be nightshade.
Nightshade, which includes stuff like, what is that? Peppers, tomatoes, eggplant.
More peppers.
All right. What is this?
What's on the bag right here?
This group and this group. Your turnip greens, your collard greens, your mustard greens, your arugula, your cabbage, and kale. What are those?
This would be... Give me a little hint.
Brassica.
I said give me a hint, not give me the answer.
Lettuces. Your parsley is really supposed to go in your lettuces, but I don't because I'm so used to companion planting it with other things. But if you're new to companion planting, I'm going to suggest that you pair it with your lettuce because you're going to grow it in the same time frame that you're going to grow lettuce, and that way you know that it comes from that plant family. This is the
this is our family right here because apparently this is all we have.
what's bad about this is these are all the plants that I struggle to grow with now that I used to never struggle to grow with. These are all cucurbits, and the number one enemy you already know is squash vine borers and squash bugs. It is actually the squash bugs that we have more problems out of than the squash vine borers. We're able to catch the borers pretty quick, but it is the squash bugs, which is an Asian variety of a stink bug. That's essentially what it is. It's a stink bug.
If we're being completely fair, though, not having the hard frost for long periods of time
They can kind of survive frost. That's the thing. They're adaptable. And what I've seen in my gardening experience, especially since going to organic over the past several years, is that I've tried every companion planting approach, and I'm throwing some stuff at the wall, and it's just not working. So we're going to try it in the new area. I asked my neighbor, remember, I asked her about squash vine borers, and she said that she had more problems out of squash bugs. So we're going to try. I'm going to try to implement some beneficial nematodes into the soil, and I'll get into soil health here soon because we've got a lot to do at our place. We've already done some testing, but I think I'm going to try a different approach, more than just companion planting. And I'm also just going to dual up, and we're going to have at least a small greenhouse for this plant family. So if we have to hand pollinate, and that just means that we focus more on a few plants so they produce a bigger crop than trying to focus on a crap ton of plants out in there. So let's go through this because we're obviously not I'm keeping one pack. So at this point, I have everything broken down into its plant family, and I am purging what I have way too much of. And what I discovered is I got a problem with squash, a big problem. I have entirely too much squash that I will never get to grow. I have too less of the seeds that I need to grow. And now that we've broken them down by family, taken inventory, we can start to break these guys down into seasons if we want to. Now, for us, most of everything that we grow in the spring will turn around and grow in the fall, too. So this makes it pretty easy. You hate her, Joey. Just mad that you can't grow all this.
I don't know how you're going to grow all that.
All right. So we've already went through the cabbage and stuff. I need more cabbage. Write that down. I need no kale. Just straight up cabbage. No turnips. No mustard. No collards. We're so good on that. I gotta give away some lettuce though. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't ever want to see another mater that ain't a sauce. for salsa. Okay, definitely keeping these. Roma VF, they did really good this year, and they beat out the heat and everything.
They were tasty too.
Oregon Spring. These didn't do too bad, but there's a few left in there. I'm going to give them away. We'll repackage them. Cherry tomatoes, get them out of here. Never want to see them again. Get it up. Oh my gosh. Get it.
I'm starting to see a trend that kind of follows along with your cucurbit problem.
Yeah, cayenne.
Okay.
We don't need any of those.
Tabasco.
Yeah, because I don't have none. So with us reflecting on last year, honestly, this is what we're going with a lot of this year. And it's going to be a lot different. See, here we had an organic garden. Kind of set up in a permaculture design. Like I purposely have planted certain perennials in different areas, and as far as companion planting too. But we're actually doing a food forest design. So incorporating annuals, vegetables, and this is going to be really interesting. But I'm going to do a separate video just on perennials as far as fruit trees go, because we have a lot to plan on that, a lot. And we only have maybe 10 at tops that we're going to be able to transplant and take. And one of those is a peach tree that's got like a 5-foot wingspan to it now. Why are you smiling? Because you knew.
I'm already planning on having
I bet you were
time
wondering,
of my
like,
life.
is she going to want me to? But yes, you're moving that one. Yes. All right, so nightshades. We for sure are only going with one slicing tomato variety. So that's why there's so many beefsteak in here. I'm giving those away because I've only literally kept one packet. That's all I'm growing. I swear by it this year, and no cherry tomatoes.
We will actually check the True Leaf receipts
So to see.
midway through the season.
All right, so all I'm going with this year is going to be like Roma VF. I am going to use that, and that stands for verticillium wilt. It has a resistance against it. Doesn't mean it can't get it, but I'm moving to new soil. And although I can test for several things, I don't know that I could just test right off the bat for soil-borne pathogens or diseases like verticillium wilt or blight even.
I was about to say, even being here this year, we ran into things that we hadn't really
Yeah, but we've been here for several years, and
before.
something we didn't know until halfway of living here is our neighbor, Miss Susan, even commented on the fact that somebody used to have a garden here. So I was fighting pests and animals and everything else that I've known. That garden's been here for years. So nightshades will be all paste, sauce, and salsa variety types of tomatoes. So Roma, the fingerlin, the Amish paste, like several of those varieties, and I'll update you guys on the ones that I actually order. And I will probably order all of it from True Leaf. Bell peppers. I know that I do really good on them. Remember the 21? I'm gonna try to find that and put in the 21 bell peppers on that plant until the deer got it. So I'm going to do at least 20 plants of bell peppers, and I'm going to do a couple of different varieties. One of those is I think California Wonder Bell, maybe. That's one of the varieties. And then another one that I found at True Leaf this year. Lots of chili peppers, lots of jalapenos, lots of cayenne, lots of Tabasco, lots of ancho, lots of poblano, sweet potatoes, and then I'm thinking about doing 10 pounds planting-wise. Planting-wise, that's a lot. Believe it or not, that's a lot. We only did 5, and we harvested over 150 from 5 pounds.
Yeah, I was looking at the paper the other day. It was like 164 pounds in total.
And I think I accidentally said 300 the other day online, so if y'all heard me say that, I was a liar and I'm mistaken. I doubled that number. It was really only like about 150, but I believe I messed up and said that. For red potatoes, because that has been, how many times have we grown potatoes? Red potatoes are it.
Red potatoes are by far the best potatoes anyways, because you just chop them and cook them.
And we saved so many seed potatoes, and I think we probably have 5 to 7 pounds, and we're going to add to that some bought seed potatoes, but we're going to try to plant about 20 pounds worth of seed potatoes. Brassicas, we're only doing cabbage, collards, turnips, kale, and maybe a few other little small items. Now, some things that are not in that family that I am going to grow are spinach, because this family has found a newfound love for spinach. So we're going to grow some spinach. Cucurbits, you're going to see I got a problem. Somebody's going to get them all. I'm actually going to add some stuff to this from seeds in here, but I'm going to keep that part a secret, so you're going to get some surprise seeds. And I'm going to put these in here. That's a lot of what Joey and I have to actually do. A lot of this is us going through old seed packets that have been tore up and will leak out. putting them in this. I actually got this at Amazon. I'm gonna link that below too, because I use these a lot. I love that I got these last year because I went out in the garden several times. Where did you find them? I know you found it. We got Cleome seeds just stuck in there, but from the garden, and that's what those Cleomes. What is it right here? Cleome seeds here. We've got calendula seeds out the butt, so I might share some of those because there are plenty this year. And I have so much dill and oregano that it's not even funny. These are nothing but oregano. And this is from a really strong plant, so that's something else to keep in mind. When you seed save from your most resilient plant that year. And whenever I save from mine, I look at the ones that took a beating from a tornado. They suffered 30 days of 100-degree heat, and there was plenty of times that Joey and I just let the garden go because we could not. We came to an imbalance of, is it going to cost more to water her than it is for what we're going to reap from her? And towards the end of this year, that's what we ran into, was that.
That and the fact that there was no oxygen left outside.
It was so hot. It was brutal on my chickens too. So these are saved from some of my best plants. So I definitely will save some of those and put those in that. These I also get off of Amazon. And let me tell you, if you use these, they're great and all, but they're temporary. I wouldn't store your seeds in there permanently. And if you do, either put a silica gel packet in there or some dried powdered milk to absorb moisture. But that's clear. And if you were to set that up in the sun very long, it's going to start to form some moisture, and these will pop out. So I'm going to get mine in here and get them labeled for the year so I know what they are. And I just reuse these every year because this is honestly easy to just run out to the garden, knock some seeds in, write it on the top. Forget about it until this time of the year where we start to go through it. One thing we are proud of is how many bean seeds we saved this year. So check this out. Yes, I'm not proud of that. Show that, Joey. That's where I get lazy, where I just go out to the garden and I call myself seed collecting. And you know what's bad is those are pinto and purple whole mixed together. We have to separate the bean pods, but I did good on my pinto beans. These are all our pinto beans. What Joey called, what would you call these this year?
Bush baked beans.
My bush baked beans. I bet this is seeds, y'all. Hold on. It's literally. I'm scared to look. This is what I do. I get out there and I forget what I'm doing. It's tomato seeds. And from what I don't know, and it's probably some tomatoes I don't want to grow. Those look like, those are Roma. I do want them. I might not have to buy Roma seeds now. Remind me of it. That's all. All right, so we got some alfalfa that we're going to be planting out there. More alfalfa, I'm sure. Okra, which actually is in the mallow plant family. I am going to grow some okra. I didn't do too good with it this year. Looks like I have a few sugar snap peas, so it looks like peas need to be added to the hard white wheats. This is our hard red spring wheats. And then be careful, Joey, don't open those because I want to warn them of that because I found out in such a messed up manner. These are awesome, but if you buy these from True Leaf, when you open the can, it's a pull top. Don't you ever grab that again. Like, I was out in my garden, I had this sitting down, and just grabbed it up with my hand. It sliced me all the way open. That is sharp. It's sharp. But anyways, we have loads and loads of, this one's oats, and these are straight up planting oats, but a lot of times Joey and I have planted these and fed the chickens, the dogs, even the cats, oat grass. You can eat oat grass. You can ferment them and feed them to the chickens. So that's why I always have those on hand. And then what else do we have over there? Barley. I don't even think I've opened this. And
we've hardly used the barley.
4.5 pounds of barley seed. And this thing is good for quite some time because this one, I don't think this one's been, yeah, it has been opened, but I've kept a silica gel packet in it. But you see she's completely full. I think I have another one somewhere of other oats and different things that I have. What else was it? Maybe some rye. There may be rye in there too. But I try to keep plenty of grains, and I also have more hard winter wheat up there. And I think we are going to try to grow a lot of that. A lot of our own grains for the livestock this year on one half of the property. I think what we're going to do in the food forest is we're going to start on the perimeters of building our permaculture design with our fruit trees or berry trees, and these are going to be Arkansas natives. We're going to incorporate the cane patch into this because it's right side by side, parallel to one another. And I think, what do you want to do? Do the garden smack dab in the middle of the food forest? Because our house would be kind of what?
I thought that's what we were gonna do, and we're also, you know, since we're good people, we're gonna make sure the deer got their own cornfield.
Hey, what? Are you sure about that, or is that about the hunter?
No, I just want the deer to have their own cornfield.
Let's harvest this garden first before you start harvesting on my baby.
And then the next one, we will have to cover herbs, flowers, and some companion planting because, as you see, that collection is pretty wild too.